The day you stop waiting. There comes a moment in life when everything becomes brutally clear. You realize that nothing magical is going to happen tomorrow. No sudden luck, no perfect opportunity, no miracle that will change your life overnight. And that's exactly where this journey begins. This is not about motivation. This is about a decision, a cold, logical, irreversible decision, that your life changes starting today, not someday. Most people live in a loop. They say things like, I'll start from Monday, I'll begin next month, or, I just need the right mood. But if you observe carefully, this is just procrastination wearing a smart disguise. The brain loves comfort. It avoids effort and delays action because action requires energy, discipline, and sometimes discomfort. So instead of acting, people keep planning. And years pass like this. Now here's the harsh truth. Your current life is not random. It is a direct result of your past actions, habits, and decisions. If you're broke, distracted, unfit, or confused, it's not bad luck. It's patterns. And the only way to break patterns is not motivation, but immediate action. That's why this is not a someday plan. This is a today system. From this point forward, we are going to rebuild everything step by step. Your thinking, your habits, your actions, and your direction. No fluff, no fake positivity, no emotional drama. Just practical, logical, real-world steps that actually work. And it all starts with one simple but powerful shift. You stop waiting, and you start now. Kill the perfect time illusion. The biggest scam your brain ever sold you is the idea of the perfect time. You think you'll start when everything feels right, when you're motivated, when you have enough energy, when conditions are ideal. But if you observe reality, you'll notice something uncomfortable. Perfect conditions don't exist. They are imaginary. They are just an excuse to delay action without feeling guilty. Scientifically, your brain is wired to avoid uncertainty and effort. Starting something new triggers resistance because it requires energy and carries the risk of failure. So your mind creates a logical-sounding escape. Not today, maybe tomorrow. This isn't laziness, it's a survival mechanism. But in modern life, this mechanism works against you. Because success doesn't come from comfort, it comes from consistent discomfort. Look at people who are actually successful. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They started when they were confused, unprepared, and even scared. The difference is simple. They acted anyway. While others were thinking, they were doing. While others were waiting, they were progressing. And over time, that small difference compounds into massive results. So here's your first real shift. Stop negotiating with yourself. You don't need the perfect time. You need a starting point. And that starting point is always now. Even if it's messy, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect. Because once you move, momentum starts building. And momentum is far more powerful than motivation. Your life is a system, not motivation. Most people think success is about motivation. They wait to feel like doing something before they act. But this is completely backward. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like mood swings. If your life depends on motivation, then your progress will always be inconsistent. One day you feel unstoppable, the next day you do nothing. That's not growth, that's randomness. Now let's look at this logically. Every result in your life comes from repeated actions. And repeated actions come from habits. That means your life is not controlled by motivation, it is controlled by systems. A system is simply a set of actions you follow daily, regardless of how you feel. It removes decision-making and replaces it with structure. And structure is what creates consistency. For example, if someone says, I'll work out when I feel motivated, they'll fail. But if they have a system, like working out every day at 7 a.m., no matter what, then results become inevitable. The same applies to money, learning, skills, and discipline. When you stop relying on emotions and start following systems, your life becomes predictable in the best way possible. So from today, your focus should shift completely. Don't ask, am I motivated? Ask, what is my system? Because systems don't care about your mood, your excuses, or your comfort. They just work, if you follow them. And once you build the right system, success stops being a question and starts becoming a process. Start small, but start daily. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to change their life is going too big, too fast. They suddenly decide to wake up at 5 a.m., work out for 2 hours, study for 6 hours, and fix everything in one day. It sounds powerful, but in reality, it's unsustainable. Within a few days, they burn out and go back to zero. This is not discipline, this is self-sabotage. Your brain resists drastic change because it requires too much energy at once. But small actions? Those are easy to accept. This is where real transformation begins. Instead of trying to change your entire life overnight, you start with small, consistent actions. Not because they are impressive, but because they are repeatable. And repetition is what builds identity. Let's break this down practically. Instead of saying, I will study for 5 hours, start with 30 minutes daily. Instead of, I will exercise intensely, start with 10 to 15 minutes. Instead of trying to fix your entire routine, fix just one habit at a time. These small wins may look insignificant, but they create momentum. And momentum is what turns effort into habit. Here's the key principle: consistency beats intensity every single time. Doing something small every day is far more powerful than doing something big once in a while. Because small daily actions compound over time, and that's how real change happens. So don't focus on being extreme. Focus on being consistent. Remove distractions before you add discipline. Most people try to become disciplined without fixing their environment. They say, I need more focus, but they are surrounded by distractions, phone notifications, social media, random scrolling, noise, and constant interruptions. Then they blame themselves for lacking discipline. But the truth is simple. You don't need more discipline, you need fewer distractions. Your brain is not weak, it's just overloaded. Every notification, every short video, every scroll gives your brain a quick dopamine hit. Over time, your brain gets addicted to instant rewards and loses the ability to focus on long-term tasks. This is not a personality flaw, it's basic neuroscience. If you keep feeding your brain junk stimulation, it will resist anything that requires effort. So instead of forcing focus, you redesign your environment. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Keep your phone away while working. Remove apps that waste your time. Create a clean, distraction-free space where your brain has no easy escape. When distractions go down, focus automatically goes up, without needing motivation. Here's the real shift: discipline is not about fighting yourself all day. It's about making the right choice the easiest choice. If your environment supports your goals, you don't have to rely on willpower. And once you control your environment, you'll realize something powerful. Focus is not something you chase, it's something you create. Master your time or stay average. Everyone has the same 24 hours. Yet some people build skills, make money, get fit, and grow, while others stay stuck in the same place for years. The difference is not intelligence, luck, or talent. The difference is how they use their time. Time is the only resource you can't earn back, and wasting it daily is the fastest way to stay average. Let's break it down logically. If you waste just 3 hours a day on random scrolling, entertainment, or doing nothing useful, that's over 1,000 hours a year gone. Imagine what you could build with 1,000 focused hours: a high-income skill, a strong body, a powerful mindset. But most people don't see time as a resource, so they spend it without thinking. Now here's the shift: stop saying, I don't have time. That's almost always false. The real problem is unstructured time. When your day has no plan, distractions take over. But when your day is structured, your actions become intentional. Even a simple plan like blocking 1 to 2 hours daily for focused work can completely change your trajectory. So start treating your time like money. Track where it goes. Cut useless activities. Invest it into things that actually move your life forward. Because at the end of the day, your future is not built in years. It's built in how you spend your hours. Build skills that actually pay. Most people spend years consuming information but never focus on building valuable skills. They watch videos, read content, feel productive, but in reality, nothing changes. Because information alone doesn't create results. The market doesn't pay you for what you know, it pays you for what you can do. Now think about this logically. If you want financial growth, you need skills that solve real problems. Skills like data analysis, sales, communication, coding, video editing, or marketing. These are directly linked to value creation. The more valuable problem you can solve, the more money you can earn. It's that simple. No luck, no shortcuts, just supply and demand. But here's where most people fail. They jump from one skill to another. One week they start learning coding, next week they switch to something else. This scattered approach kills progress. Skill building requires focus and repetition. You pick one skill, stay consistent, and go deep until you become useful enough to get paid. So from today, stop being a content consumer and become a skill builder. Choose one high-value skill, give it daily time, and track your improvement. Because once you build a skill that people are willing to pay for, your life starts changing in a very real, measurable way. And that's when effort finally turns into income and independence. Discipline over emotion. One of the biggest reasons people fail is because they let their emotions control their actions. If they feel good, they work. If they feel lazy, they stop. If they feel tired, they quit. This emotional decision-making creates inconsistency, and inconsistency kills progress. Because success is not built on how you feel, it's built on what you do repeatedly. Let's get real, your emotions are unreliable. They change constantly based on mood, sleep, environment, and even random factors. If you depend on emotions, your output will always fluctuate. But disciplined people operate differently. They don't ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" They ask, "Is this what I'm supposed to do right now?" And then they do it, regardless of how they feel. There's a psychological concept here called behavioral conditioning. When you consistently take action despite resistance, your brain starts adapting. Tasks that once felt difficult become normal. Resistance decreases and discipline becomes automatic. This is how people build strong habits, not by waiting for motivation, but by acting in spite of the lack of it. So here's the shift: stop negotiating with your emotions. You are not your feelings. Your feelings are temporary signals, not commands. The moment you stop obeying them blindly and start acting based on logic and purpose, everything changes. Because discipline is not about being perfect, it's about being reliable, no matter what. This starts now, not tomorrow. At this point, everything is clear. There's no confusion left, no missing piece, no secret formula. You now understand that change doesn't come from motivation, luck, or perfect timing. It comes from systems, consistency, discipline, and daily action. And the most important part, it starts now, not tomorrow. Most people will listen to all of this, feel inspired for a moment, and then go back to their old patterns. Not because they're incapable, but because they delay action. They tell themselves, "I'll start later," and that later never arrives. This is where people lose. Not in effort, but in execution. But if you're different, if you actually apply even 20% of what you've learned, your life will start shifting. Not instantly, but inevitably. Small daily actions will compound. Your habits will evolve. Your mindset will sharpen. And slowly, without any dramatic moment, you'll become a completely different person. So don't close this video and go back to autopilot. Pick one thing, just one, and start today. Not perfectly, not massively, just intentionally. Because the truth is simple: your future is not decided by what you plan, but by what you do next.